What's up, everybody? It's Aaron here, along with Ray, for another episode of Franchise Tag Fantasy Football Podcast. As always, please give us a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave us a comment down below. We realize we're going to be a few days late at getting this one out. We had life issues, and then we recorded yesterday and had technical difficulties where audio didn't come through. So we are here recording this episode now for the second time. We're going to make it through this one. It's going to publish. You guys are going to love it. You're going to leave us lots of likes. And we're going to get on about our business. And next week on Tuesday, the episode will drop on time. We promise. With all that being said, Ray, how's it going?
I want to make sure I'm coming through, right? I'm here. You can hear me?
I can. My little audio bar off to the side, I can catch out of my peripheral. It is moving when you talk. And when I talk.
If we have to record this, we got to record this a third time, then the AFC is getting the boot. Sorry.
Yep.
So, Aaron, I got a pretty quick question for you. This is a pretty important question. This is going to be basically telling me where our friendship and relationship goes on from this.
It might go down in flames today.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Sometimes, not all.
How dare you? It's all the time. Look, everybody out in the world, I just want you to listen to me real fast. I know I've been cashing a lot of checks. You guys have been getting rich off of this knowledge. If you put pineapple and ham and black olive on that pizza together, or you can put pepperoni if you're feeling spicy, you feeling nasty, put all that together, ooh, girl, it's hard to mess that up.
So sweet classic Hawaiian pizza, I would agree. But when I said sometimes, I meant like when people are going like super extra with like, we're going to get a supreme pizza and add pineapple or whatever. No, you stick to pepperoni, you stick to ham, also known as Canadian bacon, also known as a Hawaiian pizza.
Why is it Canadian bacon?
I don't know. It's what they call ham, Canadian bacon.
It's awkward.
It is weird. It is really weird, right? But I'm just throwing out. I'm just throwing out the different names as people might know it. But yes, if you stick to that circular piece of the pie, see what I did there? You stick to that piece of the pie of pizza pie. I would agree that pineapple does go on pizza. That's why I said
can give me pineapple all the time. I want it all the time. Anyways,
gonna like us.
Anyways, help us find out what you guys like in the comments, please. Please throw slander towards Aaron here with this nonsense that pineapple doesn't go on pizza. It does all the time.
Not on all pizza. Only certain pizzas.
Hey, so how about that Julio Jones?
Oh, you mean that trade that you called out 2 episodes ago in the AFC South? That one?
More checks, baby. More checks. Cashing them in.
It was everyone knew a trade was coming. No one really knew where it was going though, or where he was going, should I say. He is on the Tennessee Titans. He will be not the Julio of old that everyone probably thinks, where they're like, oh, he's going to cut into A.J. Brown. No, Julio will still be a very viable high-end wide receiver 2 to middle wide receiver 2. I do think A.J. Brown, the ceiling for him kind of stops, but that's still, my personal outlook is like wide receiver 4 to wide receiver 9. I know you're more bullish on A.J. Brown, but I mean 4 to 1 is good, but
negligible. I understand that. So let me pitch my actual idea as to why I think that Julio helps A.J. Brown more than he hurts. So, and I understand that we're coming out late with this, and I understand that these takes might have already been said a little bit, but with Julio Jones coming to Tennessee, there was 157 vacated targets. Corey Davis in 14 games got 92 targets, and who really wants to throw the ball to Corey Davis? Nobody. Jonnu Smith is leaving 65 targets on the board. Again, did Jonnu Smith do a whole lot with those targets? No. But what Julio Jones does bring to the table is he opens up the one-on-ones for A.J. Brown and himself. You can't have double teams on both of those guys because you still got Derrick Henry existing, being the gigantic human being in the backfield that he is. So I truly think that this makes their offense more multifaceted, and you're going to see more passing volume because of that. Instead of their predication on, oh, we're down by 30, still hand the ball off to Derrick Henry 25 times. Now they can actually fight to come back in games, where you saw that in the playoffs where they were out of that game early and they didn't have any other option to get back into it. Let's say when they were playing against the Packers, they were out of that game early. They didn't have a whole lot of options to come back into it.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown is having double coverage of Jair and Amos and Darnell Savage. There's nobody else on the other side to compete with that. You throw in Julio Jones in that mix with a guy that's averaging about 139 targets every season he's ever been in the league. I truly think that AJ Brown has the opportunity to be the receiver one still. Those 20 extra targets. Give me 20 extra targets to AJ Brown.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, Corey Davis had 92 targets in 14 games. I don't expect Julio to play every game this season.
No.
He is 32 now, but he rolls right into that 92 target role. You know what I mean? You're freeing up to 65 from Jonnu, so you're probably going to say split that into thirds. I would say 20 to AJ Brown puts him at 130, 20 to probably more than likely Julio Jones puts him about 110 to 115. And then I think Ferkser gets about 10 of those. He had 53 last year anyways from Jonnu. He gets about 10 of those, so he's up to where the Johnny was with the 65. And then I think Derrick Henry probably gets maybe 5 to 10 more targets than he had last year, and he had 31 last year. Sorry, I was reading the numbers off.
You give Derrick Henry 10 more targets. Let's say he pulls in.
I don't think he'll get that many more. I think he'll probably get closer to 5 more targets.
Okay. I was gonna make a little point. I'm like, if you have Derrick Henry with 40 to 50 targets, let's say he brings in 25 of them. Ooh. I'm liking Derrick Henry a little more.
Yeah, with his 31 targets, he had 19 receptions, so that's like a 53% or something like that catch rate, which isn't bad for a big-bodied running back who's not known as a pass-catching running back. You know what I mean? Making the most out of his targets. And Derrick Henry's big enough where he could literally catch the ball on a swing route and then just truck the corner that's on the outside and be gone.
And you're never going to see. If Julio and AJ Brown are on the same field at the same time, you're never going to see a stack box. You cannot. So you can't stack that box.
That leads me into kind of another point I want to talk about is for fantasy. That gives, in my personal opinion, Tannehill a bump in overall finish because I do believe, yes, when they are down, they will be able to throw the ball more. So even though they're not perennially known for throwing the ball as much, in situations when they need to, they will be able to now. I do believe, like we talked about, AJ Brown kind of stays about the same and maybe gets a little more boomy busty. One game he might, and for boom bust for AJ Brown and Julio in this situation where AJ Brown's averaging you 17.5 points last season, I still expect him to have he's still going to probably average around 17.5 points, you know what I mean, this year. But there's going to be a couple more games where instead of getting the 22-point game or the 24-point game, you're going to get closer to like the 10 or 11-point game. Still a decent game, but not what you kind of are expecting in that week, where Julio might get the extra touchdown that week or whatever through the air. So I see him, like I said, as a 4 to 9 finish guy, somewhere around there, and anywhere in between there. Normally, as we discussed in the wide receiver episodes, normally just a couple touchdowns between them. And then I see Julio as probably anywhere from 14 to 18, wide receiver 14 to 18. So higher end fringe 1, 2, or middle 2, wide receiver 2. Derrick Henry.
You don't think can Julio finish as a receiver 1?
I don't think the Tennessee offense is made to support 2 wide receiver 1s for fantasy. It can be close, but I don't think that it's going to be done. Could happen, but I don't think that they're built that way. Because Derrick Henry, I personally think that it doesn't really change much for Derrick Henry, right, per se. But like you said, they can't stack the box, so therefore that brings his floor up. I think his boom games are still going to stay the same, but his floor just gets a little bit higher.
I can see that. And I think
stability-wise, you can count on him to be more consistent.
I think Julio is going to be looking more as a high-end receiver, too. I think that's the highest end receiver 2 you can get. And you're going to have weeks.
So 13?
He plays, you're going to have weeks that he's going to, basically 13, maybe 14. Right there.
That's what I said, 14 to 18.
You're going to have games where, he's going to completely go nuclear. Completely. Because teams are going to try and focus on taking away Derrick Henry, which now you're going to have A.J. Brown probably taking away the number 1 coverage. Julio against the number 2 corner on your team. I don't care what year it is. Julio is still dominant. Dominant.
I mean, the dude's still 6'3", 200 and something pounds. You
can't coach that out of him.
Yeah, you can't coach size. But
so, yeah. I love the move. I love it. I think that it makes the most sense for a team that was on the cusp, I'd say. Well, we could say that, on the cusp of making a real run, making some real noise.
Years. Don't forget the year before, too.
Yeah, and that's off of a team predicated on relying on the likes of Corey Davis and, like, I don't know, Jonnu Smith's hopes and dreams. I don't believe in either one of those guys.
I mean, it was Delaney Walker for a long time, so.
I guess. Then Delaney Walker, by the time A.J. Brown got there, was still pretty hurt most of that season. A.J. Brown was a rookie.
I agree. So, and then when DeMarco Murray, they've always had a decent running back when DeMarco Murray went to Tennessee, too. And Derrick Henry was playing behind him. I completely understand why people are like, why is Derrick Henry not playing above DeMarco Murray? But worked out in the end. Anyways, so on the other end of that trade, we'll cover it more when we talk about the NFC South. But that bumps Calvin Ridley up to me in fantasy. War fantasy bumps Calvin Ridley up. However, Calvin Ridley had minor foot surgery and is not playing or practicing in minicamp. Not in it at all.
Crazy, because Julio had foot problems forever. Gotta be some in the water over there. So I want to ask you a realistic question. If you had to go into the season and you had to draft Kyle Pitts, how high are you comfortable taking Kyle Pitts with Julio gone?
It depends. If I don't get Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Darren Waller, if I didn't get one of those guys, I'll take Mark Andrews, T.J. Hawkinson, and I'll take those two over him, and then probably I'll take him as tight end 6 off the board.
I think honestly,
it kind of just depends though.
That's weird because I don't think I'm that high on T.J. Hawkinson. I'm just not. And you know that I was in the beginning of this whole endeavor.
Yeah,
I was.
I'm just thinking of he's really the only pass catching option in Detroit.
Yeah.
So you've cooled, I've warmed. I think we're eventually going to meet in the middle.
I think Robert Tonyan is probably going to outperform him.
There's a good one too. I didn't even think about the Ton Man. I would probably take Mark Andrews and Tonyan over him, and then at the Hawkinson Pitts choice, if they were both still on the board at the same time, that would be a choice that I'd probably end up weighing. I do think my take on him not performing to expectations his rookie year, now that Julio's gone, he should perform to expectations of his draft capital. Yeah. But the only way to really tell is through time. My take got shot out of the sky, so
I still don't think that Kyle Pitts is going to return on the value that
he won't return on tight end. He won't return on tight end 5 value like everyone's going to draft him at.
Hard to say he's not. The tight end landscape is so trash.
But that's what I'm saying though. Would you rather take Kyle Pitts at tight end 5 in the 5th, 6th round, or would you rather get someone who's going to finish at, or who you get at, tight end 12 in the 13th round that's going to finish tight end 7 and only be 10 points behind whoever finishes 5th?
I don't know. You know what?
I mean?
Get rid of tight ends in your league. Just get rid of them. Get rid of them.
Can we make it another flex spot?
I hate it so much. Not as much as I hate kickers. Don't get me started on the kickers. But God, I hate tight ends so much.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the point that Calvin Ridley does get a bump, but he's not at minicamp. Also, or mandatory minicamp. Also, the Texans canceled their minicamp because they accomplished what they wanted to accomplish in OTAs. Therefore, that means Deshaun Watson cannot get fined for not showing up to mandatory practices.
Really? What does that even mean? Like,
just saying.
So
they canceled their mandatory minicamp. And word on the street, from all of the fantastic people at ESPN or ESPN is that Deshaun has said he wants to go to the Broncos.
How high would you be on Noah fan if Deshaun Watson went there?
Give Cortland Sutton, if he gets to play and isn't on the commissioner's exempt list,
Sure. Let's say
give
place.
every pass catcher in Denver a big bump.
Because I can tell you right now, the news out of Denver right now is that Drew Lock looks like a bag of buns.
Looks? I think we've had a couple years experiment. Couple years worth of experiment to know.
Teddy B time, baby.
Dump off Central. We're gonna cover the Broncos. Luckily,
we'll cover episode. Yeah, we'll cover them.
Anyways, because I want to get into stuff. So, you ready to jump in this AFC breakdown?
Yes. Yes.
It's the weakest of the East. AFC East breakdown. You want to start with the New York Jets, the Green Machine?
The football Jets.
The Green Machine? You want to start with the Jets?
Look.
No.
Let's start with the Jets.
You want to start with the Jets? All right.
Let's start with the Jets.
I just want to say, Jets fans of New York, I'm happy for you. You got rid of Adam Gase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you too. Everything's on the up and up because Adam Gase isn't there. Adam Gase is the worst thing that ever happened in football, period. Hands down, 100%. He had to be on Bill Belichick's payroll to stay as a head coach in the AFC East for so long. Had to.
And Peyton Manning has long coattails. That's all I'm saying.
Sure.
They left that man out there forever.
I don't understand what kind of dirt Adam Gase has on all these people to keep him in the league. But aside from all that nonsense, I think that them drafting Zach Wilson, that's a lateral move from Sam Darnold.
Agreed.
I think that they're picking up Corey Davis isn't a huge move because they have Denzel Mims, which is also similar body type, similar archetype as the kind of receiver. I would say Corey Davis probably a little faster, but big bodied guy, able to win the physical fight. But and then they go and draft Elijah Moore. Sorry, I did it again. Elijah Moore. When they already had Jamison Crowder. I'm like, what?
So
do you guys like duplicates of things? Like, what's happening here?
We discussed this on the episode that didn't work or had errors on. And I brought up the fact we're going to reference it as a secret episode from now on. On the secret episode, I referenced that they drafted Elijah Moore and kept Jamison Crowder because Elijah Moore is going to be Jamison Crowder's replacement. But I think they want that 1 year that's left on his contract or whatever for him to kind of be there and be the veteran presence and kind of teach Elijah Moore about the NFL, kind of be that mentor for him.
Yeah. Outside of that, I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of moves that I'd really like to talk about outside of one very specific and very big move that I think is going to have a lot more implications going forward. So who is the running back in New York right now? Who is it?
On the depth chart or who I think is going to start the season?
Sure. Either one. Doesn't matter.
Tevin Coleman is on the depth chart and takes the first snap of the season, but Michael Carter soon takes the job.
Post haste. Tevin Coleman has got literally nothing in the tank. Zero. He's on empty. I don't know why they're paying that man. There's no reason to have him waste the roster spot. Ty Johnson isn't going to take that job. Sorry. Whoever the Ty Johnson truther is out there, if you're still out there, no.
Well, I think it'll end up being Michael Carter will be the one, and then Michael P. Ryan will eventually be the backup.
I can see that, but I mean that's somebody that I'd be really interested in getting later on in drafts. If you can maybe,
I did not know this, and I am a Michael Carter kind of like that's my dark horse in the race type guy. He's only 5'7".
I didn't know that either.
I did not know that today until I was looking at. He's like 5'7", 200 pounds though. Even though he's short, he's still big.
Look like a thumb.
Yeah, but I think that he will be good. He will be good.
So if you can get him in late in your draft, I mean late, because you don't know if they're going to give Tevin Coleman the longest leash possible. Maybe they do, and you wasted a pick. make sure that you're getting Michael
I
Carter
mean, he
super
was
late.
with Robert Saleh in San Francisco, so
Yeah, I don't know how long his leash is, and it could get a little messy in New York. But if you can get a share of Michael Carter, specifically in Dynasty, then I think that might be the move going forward. You
yeah,
know that he's going to
or
get
if
the
you can get him
job.
late in a keeper.
Yeah, if you can get him real late and
Redraft,
cheaper.
redraft, I'd probably wait off a little bit.
Maybe if he was the
Um,
last pick that you had in a
No,
redraft.
just all roster construction. So at that point in time, it's kind of just what you need. If you're like, you got stud wide receivers, you got some good tight, you got a good tight end, a good quarterback,
But
and
desperate
you're
for
you're
running back.
kind of lackluster on running back, so you didn't get your first running back till the third or fifth round or something. Um, I would look for him in like 8, 9, 10
10.
because because eventually he will be the starter. So therefore, he's gonna be on a bad offense. Don't get me wrong, the offense is gonna be bad, but 180 to 220 carries on a bad offense is still all right.
Yeah, and just to recap on what I think Zach Wilson's going to be, I don't even think that this year, obviously, is not going to be lateral to what Sam Darnold would have been or is going to be in Carolina. It's going to be downgrading because you have a new quarterback and a new system with a new coach. We've talked about this before. It's a recipe for just non-production for the first year, and that's not a knock on Zach Wilson or what the offense could be or the weapons there. It's not a knock on him. It's just
It is on Zach Wilson. It is a knock. I don't like Zach Wilson. They didn't play anybody at BYU. He
I
went number
guess yeah.
two. He went number 2 overall.
I guess yeah.
I don't. I don't know.
I wouldn't be looking to get any pieces from this New York Football Jets offense. No thanks. Unless
I would
you want
agree.
Carter late.
I would agree. Maybe Elijah Moore later too, but I would agree. Let's jump into the Finns. I know that they have one of Ray's favorite players. So the Miami Dolphins. You saw Fitzmagic do Fitzmagic things for them last year, but now he is on the Washington football team. So it is Tua's job going into the offseason and in the offseason. How you feel about that?
Look, fans, subscribers, people that like to listen to us, not people that don't even like to listen to us. There's a couple people out there like that. I want you guys to understand that I couldn't be less off of an entire offense at all. I couldn't be. You couldn't pay me money to want to draft any person on the Dolphins roster offensively.
The
Maybe
only
that's mighty
person
few,
I would
know.
even consider taking off of the Dolphins roster would be Will Fuller, and he's suspended game 1. And I'm not talking Houston Texans Will Fuller, Ray. I'm talking Miami Dolphins Will Fuller. So that means he's way back in drafts, bro.
That's without the sauce too. He ain't got the juice anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Ooh, that's rough.
So, yeah, I would agree.
I want to recap what I had said prior in the secret episode.
Secret.
Get your Patreons ready. So I would just like to say that they went and made all these moves for really deep threat receivers and a lot of field stretching attributes on their offense, with Tua not being able or not showing the ability or the want or desire to push the ball down the field. Will Fuller's a field stretcher. He's not a between the chains kind of guy. He's not a possession receiver. He's a field stretcher. Jalen Waddle, same exact archetype of receiver. Literally the same dude. Are those guys going to be worth anything? No. Is Devontae Parker going to be worth anything? I don't know. I think he's probably the one. He has to be. He's the one.
Yeah, I mean,
don't want that.
It's between him and Will Fuller, and I think that he'll eventually be the one just because he'll be Tua's first read.
Yeah, and
you can line up as the outside receiver. It's supposed to be the one, but if you're not the first read in the offense for your second-year quarterback, who you would hope would take a leap forward, but I don't think will. Yeah. So, anyways, they have really good offensive pieces, right? They have a lot of really good offensive pieces. Their offensive line's still a little shaky, and their defense is top third of the league defense. I said it in secret episode. I'll say it again. I think Miami defense keeps them in a lot of games, and they squeak by on 3 to 7 point wins.
You can honestly say right now, you can say this right now, and it doesn't matter what time frame you're thinking of. The success of the Dolphins this season is absolutely predicated on Tua 100%.
Yeah, their defense is going to keep them in games. Their defense is going to be good.
And
the fact
Tua
of
will
if they
lose
win,
games.
If they win those games or not will be on Tua. Got anything else for the Dolphins?
Nope.
Stay away from them.
Stay away from your Dolphins.
Except maybe Will Fuller late.
Stay away from
next up, we have the dynasty
Patriots.
that once was
Patriots.
The New England Patriots.
I think I have it wrote down in here. Quote, Cam Newton is so clearly burnt toast. Bag of buns. Not even the good ones.
He's the great value hot dog buns that you get, and you try to split them open and just rips into pieces. Tear. Yeah.
And now you're just eating a hot dog sandwich. You're not even a hot dog. It's a sandwich. It's a wiener sandwich.
So he's burnt toast. He's looked so far from gone last year, and he's already injured again. And we are in mandatory minicamp, and he's already injured.
Mac Jones, my baby.
Mac Jones has a questionable tag as well with a lower leg injury or lower extremity injury. So I don't think that's that big of a deal. I think it's probably just a little bit of muscle tightness from not working out or practicing for a little bit in time. But yeah, no brainer for them to bring in a first round quarterback. Obviously, with the camp situation, I thought personally going into the draft that they might trade up.
Surprisingly, they didn't. But
their guy really fell to them at 15.
Their offense, when they had success with Tom Brady, obviously Tom Brady is a completely different situation than Mac Jones. But they have similar attributes. Similar in the fact that Mac Jones isn't a mobile guy. Tom Brady was a mobile guy. Mac Jones is a pocket accurate passer. Tom Brady was an accurate pocket passer. Not a big arm guy. Now there's Mac Jones.
Every time I saw Tom Brady do a fucking quarterback sneak for a touchdown, though, it would irk me.
I don't know. I think that it was the right move for them offensively, just because of the fact that they're used to that kind of guy, and they clearly didn't have anything installed for Cam Newton to have him. Well, that's leaving a lot on the table to say that Cam Newton still has something in the tank. I don't think that it was two sides of the coin. Cam Newton didn't have anything in the tank, and they didn't have anything installed for him. There was both sides of this. It was just not a right fit. How many games do you think it takes for Mac Jones to take a start?
We covered this. I said they have a week 14 bye, so that's too late. But I don't think if they're at 500 or below by week 10, I think Mac Jones gets the reins.
And I think I said week 4.
You said 5.
Week 4. Oh, I did?
You said 5.
Oh, well, let's go with 5. Week 5. Give me a little grace room. Little bit.
Little extra week. I brought up Damian Harris. He's going to be the starting running back for the New England Patriots, but if we know anything about Bill Belichick, it's the fact that Bill Belichick will put in anybody he wants at running back and throw everyone's fantasy day for a loop because you picked the wrong guy to play that week. Sony Michel is still on the roster. I brought that up too. It's crazy to me that he's even on the roster. He won't be on the roster next year for sure if he doesn't get cut before season start. Ray's smiling and laughing because he had the great Sony experiment last year.
I've had him like 2 years in a row.
He could have been so good,
but then maybe he couldn't
pan out. But probably did.
Maybe he couldn't.
Probably not.
Maybe he couldn't.
Nelson Aguilar is going to be their wide receiver 1. N'Keal Harry, as I think we've noticed for first round. I think he was the first round pick the Patriots had in last 5 years leading up to where he was. And he
sucks.
Definitely a bust. I wasn't going to go that hard, but yes, he's not good. And then somehow the Patriots signed in free agency Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, what seems like the exact same day.
and I want neither of them. Even if they were by themselves, I probably still wouldn't want them.
Yeah, I
So
think the Pats after this year are going to be on a rebuild. I think after this year, when they have the losing season, like I have them projected to go, Belichick cashes out and they rebuild.
that's where I have it a little different, but I do believe that they will be in an offensive rebuild 100%.
Oh yeah, their
Maybe
defense
not
is still stacked.
their defense is still pretty good. They
They had
had
a lot of
what
people. Yeah,
eight
go ahead.
players that cashed out for COVID.
Yeah,
So I think
they'll
that
probably be like in Miami, where their team they excuse me, I'm stuttering. Their defense keeps them in games, but unfortunately, Cam puts them in a hole early season, and Mac Jones, when he comes in and takes over the reins, has the rookie blues and doesn't is not finishing games that should be able to be finished. Is what I'm trying to say.
yeah, I still think that the Patriots, being the establishment that they are, they can probably right the ship pretty fast. But let's say dynasty wise, because there's nobody that I want redraft on this team. There's nobody that I want as a keeper on this team. Dynasty wise, how far back would you be willing to take Mac Jones?
Dynasty wise,
He's probably the only piece on this whole offense that I would be considering.
I might look at Damian Harris dynasty wise long term.
If you're willing to reach in a second to get Mac Jones,
Are you talking dynasty rookie or dynasty startup?
dynasty rookie.
Yeah, back into the second round. If
Okay.
if my dynasty team is hurting for a quarterback, like say I have Tom Brady who has 1 year left on his contract, or only a couple years left in his actual NFL career, and I'm looking for that replacement, then yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Or maybe middle of the second if you really believe.
Your dynasty, your rookie drafts, pretty much from the back end of the first round.
All reaches.
The second round is basically just take your shot on who you like.
Yeah, I will say just to end on the Patriots and move on to the Bills, that Mac Jones in a different draft class would have been probably the number one overall pick. He would have been.
Could have
He
been.
was. He played all the talent that the SEC has.
Their defenses are always good.
And he balled out. So
he also sat behind Jalen Hurts and Tua. So
that doesn't help the case.
He's been at Alabama for a while. But
yeah,
I mean, they were both real. You don't follow college that much. They might not be great NFL quarterbacks, but they were both really good college quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just want to just predicate that by saying that the class that he came in on, it sucks for him.
It has some studs.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going to go number one. I don't know if Zach Wilson's going to pan out like a lot of people think he is.
I don't know.
Trey Lance is obviously going to be the future Hall of Fame quarterback we all think he's going to be. And Justin Fields is a good quarterback too. Maybe the best quarterback the Bears have ever had in their whole history.
Could be.
So, don't know.
Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia. What is there to say about Buffalo? Their first two draft picks were defensive players to help their defense, who's already pretty good. They brought in Emmanuel Sanders.
Which I like.
He's older, yes, but still. So now you have Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Cole Beasley, and Emmanuel Sanders out there. I would have liked to see them take Javonte Williams at 30, but they took a defensive player, the running back that came out of North Carolina, who's now in Denver. I would have liked to see that happen, but apparently their GM and coaching staff have faith in Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, and they have no issues with their running backs, is what they said.
Or Matt Breida.
Impressor. That's okay. Impressors. So the Bills are going to be good. Like, let's just face it. They're returning a lot of the same people. Coaching staff, coaching continuity's good. Josh
Their
Allen,
defense just got better.
Yeah, Josh Allen's still going to be a stud. Stephon Diggs is going to be a stud. We got in a whole huge conversation about where I take Stephon Diggs. Yes, I think he's the number 3 overall wide receiver.
That's on the secret episode.
In the draft, yeah, so that I'm going to take him. We
You
had a
warned me on
debate.
that day.
We had a debate on at the 112 in a full point PPR where are you taking Stephon Diggs? Are you taking somebody else? I said, yeah, I'm taking Stephon Diggs because I got the 201 the next round and I'm taking whoever I want.
Sometimes you get stuck in the weeds.
Sometimes we did bring up though, if you are on the turns of your draft, and for example, like Stephon Diggs, if I want him, he's not coming back to me. I got the back-to-back picks. So in that second round, let's say that there's someone that I want to reach for. Give me a running back or somebody that would go in the second round.
How about Najee Harris?
That would be the third. That would technically work because that would be in the third, right? So I have the 112 and I have the 201, and then I've got 23 picks so it comes back to me. If I don't take Najee Harris at the 201, which might seem like a reach for a lot of people, I'm not getting him in the third because he's going to disappear in those middle picks. So I'm basically calling my shot on Najee Harris as my number one running back, but I would probably let him pass at that point in time.
Yeah. I'm giving you an example as to like he's a little further out of the 2 range. Now we're going to probably be bringing that situation more
We will.
in the light of like the back into the third, beginning of fourth. That's when you really gotta you're gonna call your shot on a guy, because normally if you're gonna be back into the first, front part of the second, you're gonna have some options there. Like Cam Akers be right there. Ooh baby.
It's normally around the fourth round when you're gonna start reaching for people where you'll have the 312 and the 401, so you're going to end up reaching for someone who might have went like 407 towards the back end of the fourth. You're going to end up starting to reach for people. When I say reach in air quotes, because it's not a reach if that's the guy that you want and you are high on in that caliber or tier of player. So I just wanted to bring that up kind of from our discussion yesterday.
That is important for sure.
So do you want to do division predictions?
Well, I want to finish up on the Bills just a quick recap on them. So, if you're going to be stamping your flag on a quarterback, I don't think there's a better one to do it with than Josh Allen. You're going to be able to get him a little later, let's say in the 5th round. That's where he's going to fall. Maybe the 4th if you got a Bills fan in your league, but I've only ever known 2 in my whole life. So,
unless you're from Buffalo.
Unless you're from Buffalo, then you have to be. You have to be. I don't know. I think that's somebody to take a look at. If you're willing to take a quarterback and stamp your flag on somebody, that would be a guy that I wouldn't be mad about at all. You made the right move because you shored up a position. You don't got to worry about it for the rest of the draft, and that's not overpaying for somebody in the 5th round to get the potential quarterback 1. That's not reaching for somebody, I don't think.
The potential, bro. He finished quarterback 1 last year.
I'm saying like next season, he has the potential. I'm not saying you can't say like, oh, he is absolutely the.
No, he's not. Who do you have above
1?
him?
Who do I have him over this season?
No, who do you have over him?
Dak.
Give me your order of quarterbacks off the board.
I want Dak so bad. It's not even funny.
Give me your order of quarterbacks off the board.
Well, I don't know. It's a toughie to say. Pat Mahomes going to be 1. Man, you know what? I take it back. Josh Allen's got to be number 2. I take it back. I retort. Josh Allen number 2. Retort.
As I was going to say, I think it goes Patty Mahomes, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I think so.
No.
I'm not saying that's how I would take them. I'm saying consensus ADP from people out there who have been, quote, mock drafting now. That's how it's going to go.
I'm going to take Dak over Kyler Murray.
100%. We've talked about this. I don't think we'll talk about it more too. We'll get to that episode, but yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up. Maybe stamp your flag on Stephon Diggs too, because he's pretty good at football.
I'm stamping it on him. Calling it.
Getting predictions.
Planting my flag. All right. I'm gonna let you lead it off. You say team record. I'll then counter team record.
Start at the bottom.
Ooh.
The Jets. Jets. 4-13.
Exact same.
Well.
4-13. Do not think they are going to be a good offense. Think they squeak by with a couple wins against bad teams. The
Dolphins.
The
8-9.
Dolphins. This is where you got me out of order here. So my Dolphins are 9-8.
I would like to just say that if the Dolphins win 8 games, if they do, it will be based completely off of their defensive efforts and the fact that they can sort of effectively run the ball. And to hit a screen that went to the house to Jalen Waddle. That's the only way that's going to happen.
That's why I have them winning 9, because they play the Patriots twice and the Jets twice. They get 2 wins against the Jets, and they get 1 win against the Patriots. But as you said, I do believe their defense keeps them in the games, and I do believe there's a couple big time plays to where Tua, hits Will Fuller on a 15-yard dig route, and the dude just takes it to the house for from the opponent's 45. Just kind of how I feel. I feel like they're gonna get lucky on a couple of them. The gas man, Myles Gaskins.
The Pats going 9-8.
This is where we flip flopped. I have them going 8-9. I have them having a losing record again this year.
I don't
because they have a good defense, but I don't think their offense is not as good as the pieces. They don't have as good as offensive pieces as the Dolphins do.
Very true, but the Dolphins don't have Bill Belichick. That's why I have them winning 9 games. That's the only reason.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then to close it out, the Bills at 13-4.
I have them at 12-5. I think that some games they get stuck with not being able to run the ball, kind of like you saw in the AFC Championship game, where Kansas City was going to let them run the football, and they just wouldn't do it.
They said no. No thanks.
Even when they did run the ball, they had success on it, but the next play, they were trying to throw the ball again. I think they end up getting stuck in some of those games where they play a soft, 6-man box, run a dime defense, and just it is what it is.
I can agree with that. I think that it can go either way, 12, 13 wins. It doesn't really matter. They're going to win that division. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, they're winning the division for sure. They're going to stamp their ticket to the playoffs again. So
yeah, they might as well do it right now.
Barring any form, I'm going to knock on wood, any form of injury.
Yeah.
Never like to see people get hurt, but it does happen. So hopefully that's not the case. So if we could ever have a perfect season for people not to get hurt, that would be really cool. Anything else on division predictions?
No, sir. That's it. Let's close up the AFC East for good. Again, Aaron, I want to make sure before
put a bow on this one.
Close it out. I want to make sure. Can you still hear me? Am I still here?
No, your audio didn't record.
Well,
again.
I'm going to go ahead and just turn off my computer and go to sleep.
No, I heard you. We got it this time. We got it all done. So with all that being said, guys, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when we post new videos. Leave us a comment down below. If you are a fan of any of these teams, give us your kind of thoughts of what you think or how they're going to do what they did in the offseason that you're kind of excited about, what you're looking forward to. And as always, guys, until next time, see you later.